Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from the National Heart Institute in Delhi. We in India are genetically, racially, ethnically, lifestyle and eating habit-wise, and environmentally predisposed to what is called metabolic syndrome. Now, metabolic syndrome refers to a conglomeration of risk factors which contribute to the increased prevalence of heart attacks in our community. And these risk factors are essentially a quartet of, number one, insulin resistance producing diabetes. Number two, obesity, where excess fat is deposited in our tummy, which is called central obesity, which in Hindi we call ton. Thirdly, bad lipid profile, in which LDL and triglycerides, which are harmful fats in the blood, they are high in numbers, and HDL, which is the good cholesterol, which is low in quantity in the blood of Indians. And lastly, the fourth component is high blood pressure. Now, these major four factors, they occur in clusters and they contribute to the increased causation of disease, not by arithmetic progression. So if each were to contribute 2 points, then 2 doesn't join together to make it 8. But they potentiate the effect of each other in a geometric progression. So if you have only high blood pressure and if your disease rates are increased by say 2 or 3 times, if you have diabetes also, it also increases by 2 or 3 times. But when you have both of them, then the risk is multiplication, that is 6 times higher risk of getting heart attacks. So we must realize that these risk factors, they act complementary to each other and potentiate each other's effect. Now, the problem with the control of these is that we don't get to know when high blood pressure sets in. It has been given a euphemism of silent killer. You don't get any symptoms. And by the time you get to know of the high blood pressure, it has already done massive damage to the heart in form of heart attacks, produced strokes, heart failures, and kidney damage. It is therefore important that we are sensitized to this issue of high blood pressure and we regularly measure our own blood pressure. And in fact, it's not just for elderly and senior citizens. Even children, school-going children, must have their first blood pressure measured in the school or at home. So it should be done for everyone. Once you detect high blood pressure, or even if there is no high blood pressure, and because we are predisposed to high blood pressure, we should continue taking preventive actions that it does not develop in us. And that can only happen, number one, if we don't consume extra salt. In fact, it is said, don't assault your heart. And don't forget, salt just doesn't mean what is seen as salt, the table salt. Salt is present in virtually any and every food that you eat. Salt is hidden in form of sodium in ketchups and in sauces, in achars and pickles, in preservatives, in poppers. All these have salt content and they are very high on salt, and that's why they are called HFSS, high fat, salt and sugar products. So all processed food, especially meat products, generally the preservative is salt only, and we must keep a guard on the total salt consumption per day. Second thing, it's also important to keep your weight in check. Those who are a little obese, if you lose 1 kg of weight, the blood pressure comes down by 2 percentage points. So that's very important. And thirdly, yoga and meditation have been shown to be tremendously helpful in control of blood pressure and relief of stress. And therefore, it is extremely important that we introduce these age-old, cost-effective measures for control of blood pressure and the disease thereof. So, ladies and gentlemen, wishing you, your family, and your loved near and dear ones, your friends, a great and wonderful, healthy future. Thank you.
Insights from the world's best medical minds. You are watching TheRightDoctors.com.